In here, you've got to have a valid login to do this. So what they did when they first created this site was they actually provided an incentive to their customer base, knowing that their customer, their audience, if you like, would probably lend themselves to ordering on the web, because a lot of the people that run those skate stores are typically younger people on the web all the time, so it wasn't a major transition for them to jump on and order online. They also provided an incentive too to their customer base, and they sort of recognised the fact that they could save probably 8 to 10% in terms of the cost just by transitioning to online ordering. So they passed on a 2.5% across the board. If you order on the web, you get 2.5% on your order. And of course, they had something like 600 retailers. There was 350 sign up in 2 weeks, just straight away. Yep, we'll take the discount, thanks very much, because obviously in retail, margins are everything. So what we did was we created this site. It's nothing special from a design point of view, but it's very, very practical. And what you've got now is you've got a replication of the spreadsheet. This is what the spreadsheet used to look like. So the whole idea was we replicated the design on that, so there wasn't a massive learning curve for those people that jumped onto the web. They didn't have to suddenly go and find a product, add it to the cart, find another one. They recognised the format of the spreadsheet versus what's on the site now, and they could simply come in, choose the number of products that they want against that particular size or that particular colour. If they wanted to see what a product looked like, they could roll over the camera, and that would show up the picture of the helmet, and they could make that bigger and print it off if they wanted to from there. So the whole idea with this was not only just creating efficiencies, no longer having to create a spreadsheet, take days, send that out an email, get the order, send it back, plug it in. What this also was is not having to, or making the site easy to order from. So in other words, not having to teach the customer again how to place an order. It was exactly the same as what they were used to, just in a little bit of a different forum. So that gives you an idea of what's possible there. This particular company went another step further. They've actually got a third-party logistics offering as well. So they don't stock their own stock. They have it come in. It goes to a warehouse centrally in Victoria, in Melbourne. What happens is this order itself goes and hits their accounting application, and then also shoots off automatically to their third-party logistics provider, who does the picking and does the invoice itself out of the building. So a real automated approach. A lot of efficiencies, a lot of savings, all brought about by the fact that they just sort of transitioned their ordering to the website. So that's Abyss. They're a wholesaler. The other company I want to say is this is a Perth company, Perth-based company, Powerpack. They're a large packaging supplier, as you can see here. They traditionally, their business has been around for about 35 years, I think, from memory. They're a family-owned business here in Perth. Every year they produced a large catalogue, and it would take them 6 months to prepare this catalogue. It was a beautiful catalogue, and you can still get it, and you can actually download it from the site if you need to. But it was just too slow. It just took too long. So they recognised the fact that packaging, specifically in Australia, is quite easy to transition to the web as well. And not having to do a new brochure every 6 months, which is a very, very costly exercise, meant that they could get new products up there, they could change pricing, they could do all that sort of stuff quicker than they were doing before. So what we did was we replicated their category colours, their category layouts in terms of their products themselves. So again, it wasn't a massive learning curve for those people that were used to getting the brochure. When they first hit the website, it wasn't a massive learning curve for them to come in and say, oh yeah, okay, I know where to go. I can sort of intuitively find my way. They have a couple of unique situations where you have typically multiple products that relate to, say, the same group of products. So in other words, the products are the same, but they just differ on size. So to present those easily and also make it easier for your customers to order, we come up with this grid format type scenario here, where, say, as an example, you've got your E-Tape Plus, you've got one image of that. It does happen to come in brown and clear and different sizes, but you can easily order on the right-hand side the one you want, if not multiples. Now they're linked to their accounting application, so all of this data, including the sizing, the carton rates, the carton buys, how much is in the carton, etc., the codes, that's all coming, the pricing's all coming from their accounting system. So they're not having to do this one by one in their website. They tick a little box in their accounting system and this stuff appears automatically for them. It's all dynamic sort of stuff. The other thing they've done is made it a little bit of a customer portal, like I said. So Dan, if you just go into My Account there and just log in. So you've got to have a valid login for this, but what this means now is I'm a customer, I've logged in and I can get access to more than just ordering the products. What you see when Dan logs in here is you've got the ability to see your quotes. So if you've done a quote and if you've phoned that quote through, it's come in and I've keyed it directly in my accounting system, that'll also appear on the website as well. You can also come in here and retrieve your statements and your invoices. So Dan, if you just click on one of those, I've clicked on my account, I can see what my balance is. I can also see the invoices that are on my account, and if I click on an invoice, I can see what that looks like in PowerPack's format, not just a straight text format, and I can print that off. So again, becoming that portal type situation, that self-service type situation, again, which hopefully makes things a little bit more efficient in the business, takes away some of those administrative type phone calls or emails and things that people waste all day on, and maybe hopefully divert some of that time to selling and so forth. Also keeps people on the site. So people are obviously not just using it this for ordering, they're coming back to the site. They might just come back to the site at 8 o'clock at night to grab an invoice, but they might also then see a specials page on the website that leads them into buying something as well. So the more and more things that you can get people to come back to the site on, the more reason is to maybe present some new products, or they might buy from you as well. The other site I wanted to show you was a retail site. This guy's a pretty phenomenal story. He's a Gold Coast-based operator. They sell toners, as you can see by the site, wholesale toners. He gets an order every 4 minutes on his website. So fantastic volume. They're an MYOB Premier user. So they've got, I think, 10 licenses, and traditionally they had 6 people beavering away, keying sales orders as the orders came in on the phones. What he's done is we've replicated his site. This was his design. We've primarily just replicated exactly what he had, but we've connected it to his MYOB. So first of all those new product changes that he used to do manually, one person dedicated to that every day, changing prices, making sure the products were appearing right, images there, all that stuff's gone away because it's coming in through MYOB. And then the sales orders that used to be keyed by 6 people are probably only getting keyed now, I think, by about 2 or 3 people, and those other people are out there making phone calls and just enhancing the business through hopefully more sales. So a real transition for him. Already a successful internet player, already successful in terms of marketing. He was great at getting people to his site and things like that, but just some efficiencies in the back end that really transformed the business. So a nice little success story for him as well. So that's a couple of examples of sites that are customers of ours but have gone down the integration path and added some value to their business as well. The next thing I wanted to talk about just briefly, I won't hold you up too much, but it's another product that we've done, and it's only a new product. It's been around for about 12 months or so. In terms of business, it's yet to sort of hit home runs at this point in time, but it's something interesting to talk about, and maybe could be the future very, very, very quickly. And that's Facebook. Facebook, as you know, there's probably a lot of people in this room who do have a Facebook account. It's used to catch up with friends. You put your photos up there of the trip and all that sort of stuff. But what we're finding a lot, and certainly in the last 12 months, has been a real transition in terms of businesses marketing and using social media, and that being Facebook as well. Whether that's just representing their brand on site, trying to create a community. There's different efforts that have been done by different brands, and a lot of the bigger companies around the world have certainly embraced Facebook as a marketing tool to try and create that community around their products. What we've done is we've actually embedded a shopping cart within a Facebook page. So the opportunity there is to obviously have your fans, but also allow them to see your products within Facebook. So rather than try and get them off Facebook and put them, direct them to your website, you've got the ability to actually for them to buy within the Facebook ecosystem or environment. Some of the stats obviously are just pretty obvious. There's over 600 million users of Facebook. I think it's something like 1 in 13 people on the planet actually have a Facebook account. And at some point in the last couple of months, on a regular basis now, there's been 100 million people in Facebook in one day. So it's quite a phenomenon in terms of the eyeballs that are available there to see. The reason for us doing this sort of thing is obviously, extend your reach a little bit more in terms of presenting your products. So like I said, what we do is we use the same integration that we do for our web stores, and we push those products up to a shopping cart within Facebook. And that includes all of that standard stuff that I spoke about before in terms of your stock. So you can push your categories through, you can push your pricing through, you can push your images through, all that stock attribute stuff, and they can buy within Facebook. So in other words, if you are using a PayPal or a Secure Pay or something like that to handle the checkout process, then that all works together in Facebook as well. So it's all seamless and it's all within Facebook itself. The benefits of using Facebook, obviously, are some of the features that are part of Facebook, things like the like buttons, which are become quite viral in their nature. So in other words, if I liked Web Ninja web stores on the Facebook site, then all of my 2 fans, Dan's got a few more, would see the fact that I like that, and that becomes that viral virtual word-of-mouth type situation, which can really spiral out of control. We've got a couple of Facebook stores that we do for a couple of sporting teams. Not the AFL, unfortunately. Some NRL teams on the East Coast, and they have significant numbers of fans, but they also have merchandise shops. So they have in their clubhouse, they have a traditional shop where you can buy your scarves and your beanies and all that sort of stuff as the season gets going. Because they've got such a Facebook presence, it's a natural option for them to actually have those products up on their Facebook page that people can easily click from one page to another and go, yep, I'll take those beanies. Or on a Friday afternoon before the season starts, we can say, okay, it's 50% off beanies for Facebook-only fans, and you've got 80,000 up to 100,000 or 1 million if you're Collingwood sort of thing to have the chance to buy at that point in time. So again, it's the efficiency. It's about getting those products up there. It's about taking the sales order, pushing it back into to your accounting app. But it's also a nice little opportunity from a marketing perspective, is to have more eyeballs see your product. That's kind of the end of what we wanted to present today.